Welcome to the Church of God Jesus Witnesses. Today, I would like to share the Word of God to help us understand the true identity of the Roman Catholic Church revealed through the prophecy of Daniel chapter 2. But first, let us now turn to Daniel chapter 7 verses 2 through 7. In my vision, at night I looked, and there before me were the four winds of heaven churning up the great sea. Four great beasts, each different from the others, came up out of the sea. The first was like a lion. There before me was a fourth beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. Let's take a look at another verse by turning to Daniel chapter 7 verse 17. The four great beasts are four kingdoms that will rise from the earth. Daniel saw four great beasts coming out of the sea. The four great beasts represent the four kingdoms that would arise one after the other as written in the prophecy of Daniel 2. The four kingdoms are Babylon, Media-Persia, Greece, and Rome. In Daniel 2, God prophesies about the kingdoms through the characteristics of the metals. However, in the book of Daniel 7, God explains each kingdom through the characteristics of the beasts. Let's find out more about them, one by first turning to Daniel chapter 7 verse 4. The first was like a lion, and it had the wings of an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet like a man, and the heart of a man was given to it. The first great beast that looked like a lion with the wings of an eagle represents Babylon. The lion is the king of the jungle and the eagle is the king of the air. God linked Babylon to a lion to show its strength. However, the lion stood on 2 feet like a man, and the heart of a man was given to it. It means that the lion has lost his bravery as a valiant beast. Just as such a lion, Babylon slowly weakened and was destroyed by Media-Persia represented as a ferocious bear. Daniel chapter 7 verse 5. And there before me was a second beast, which looked like a bear. It was raised up on one of its sides, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. It was told, "Get up and eat your fill of flesh." God linked Media-Persia to a ferocious bear to show that the kingdom would be cruel in nature. It was raised up on one of its sides to show that Persia would be superior to Media. Media and Persia were supposedly allied powers, but in reality, Media was a vassal of Persia. And the 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth meant that Media-Persia would conquer 3 kingdoms that were Babylon in the west, Lydia in the north, and Egypt in the south. Daniel chapter 7 verse 6. After that I looked, and there before me was another beast, one that looked like a leopard, and on its back it had 4 wings like those of a bird. This beast had 4 heads, and it was given authority to rule. God linked Greece to a leopard to show that Greece would conquer neighboring countries fast like a leopard with the wings of an eagle. In fact, it was a well-known story that Alexander, the king of Greece, had conquered 8,000 kilometers, 4,971 miles, within a short period of 8 years. Considering that weapons and transportation in those times were not as developed as our modern-day ones, we can say that his achievement was one that was outstanding. Also, the leopard having 4 heads meant that Greece would be divided into 4 nations ruled by 4 generals: Cassandros, Seleucus, Lysimachus, and Ptolemy. Daniel chapter 7 verses 7 through 8. After that, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was a fourth beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. It had large iron teeth. It crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. It was different from all the former beasts, and it had 10 horns. While I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes like the eyes of a man and a mouth that spoke boastfully. The kingdom that appears next is Rome. It is linked to a beast so terrifying, frightening, and very powerful. The beast has large iron teeth, just as the statue had the feet of iron in Daniel 2. So we can see that the beast represents Rome. In addition, the beast has 10 horns, and the Bible said that the 10 horns represent the 10 kingdoms that would arise. The beast with 10 horns must definitely be Rome, which was divided into 10 nations. Of the 10 horns, there was one that uprooted 3, and it spoke boastfully. What is this little horn, and what proud words did it utter? Let's turn to Daniel chapter 7 verse 24 to further understand what the 10 horns represent and what proud words were uttered by the horn on the fourth beast. The 10 horns are 10 kings who will come from this kingdom. After them another king will arise, different from the earlier ones. He will subdue 3 kings. He will speak against the Most High and oppress his saints, and try to change the set times and the laws. The saints will be handed over to him for a time, times, and half a time. According to the Bible, the little horn will subdue 3 kings and speak against the Most High God. It will oppress the saints of God and change the set times and the laws as well. What is the organization that fulfilled this prophecy? The Roman Catholics destroyed Heruli, Vandals, and Ostrogoths, accusing them of having a heretic faith in Arianism. God clearly reveals that the Catholic Church is the organization that actually fights against God. So how do they fight against God? The Pope, the head of the Catholic Church, has the title Vicarius Filii Dei, meaning representative of the Son of God. The Pope is taking the place of God, calling himself as such, but the organization run by him is against God. It also massacred over 50 million people during the Dark Ages, according to the prophecy. There is even more evidence that the Catholic Church is the organization of Satan. The Catholic Church has also changed the set times and the laws. The Catholic Church replaced the Sabbath day with Sunday worship service in AD 321 and abolished Passover in AD 325. Furthermore, it introduced Christmas and cross reverence, which are not even in the Bible. They even changed the 10 Commandments to their own favor. They changed the set times and the laws of God, which are essential for us to receive the forgiveness of sins. They lead our souls into the eternal lake of fire. Some say that Catholics do a lot of good deeds and therefore they must be the organization that believes in God, not standing against God. However, what did God say in the Bible concerning them? Let's turn to 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 13 to understand what God said about the Catholic Church. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workmen, masquerading as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. It is not surprising, then, if his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. Their end will be what their actions deserve. The Catholic Church massacred over 50 million people and changed the set times and the laws of God. Even now they masquerade around as an angel of light, as if they serve God reverently. We must never fall for their lies and endanger our souls. Isaiah chapter 34 verse 16. Look in the scroll of the Lord and read. None of these will be missing, not one will lack her mate. For it is his mouth that has given the order, and his spirit will gather them together. When interpreting the symbols or parables of the Bible, if you can find the answer in other parts of the Bible, that is the most accurate way to interpret it. Every verse in the Bible has its mate, which means that we should interpret the Bible by the Bible so that we can understand the truth without any inconsistencies. We should study the prophecy of Revelation in that manner. Many parts of the prophecy of Revelation are connected to the prophecy of Daniel. Therefore, in remembering what we have studied from the prophecy of Daniel, we should interpret Revelation while connecting it to the prophecy of Daniel in order to come to the right truth. Then, let's see the prophecy about the one who stands against God in Revelation chapter 13 verses 5 through 7. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise his authority for 42 months. He opened his mouth to blaspheme God, and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. He was given the power to make war against the saints and to conquer them. He was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. If you remember the prophecy of Daniel 7, you can remember these expressions as well. But to be sure, let's take a look at the prophecy of Daniel chapter 7 verse 25. He will speak against the Most High and oppress his saints and try to change the set times and the laws. The saints will be handed over to him for a time, times, and half a time. In the prophecy of Daniel, it says he will speak against the Most High, but in Revelation, it says he opened his mouth to blaspheme God directly. Also in the prophecy of Daniel, it says oppress his saints, but in Revelation, it is said slander those who live in heaven. In addition, in the prophecy of Daniel, it says for a time, times, and half a time. But in Revelation, it says 42 months, 3.5 years converted into months is 42 months. Then, what does Revelation 13 prophesy about the Roman Catholic Church? Let's take a look at it from verse 1 in detail. Revelation chapter 13 verse 1. And I saw a beast coming out of the sea. He had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on his horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. Here, it says a beast came out of the sea. The sea, here, means people of the world. This beast is grotesque in form. As we studied, the beast coming out of the sea with 10 horns is the 4th beast who was controlled by the little horn in Daniel 7, the papacy. First of all, 10 horns is a feature of the beast representing the Roman Empire in Daniel 7. As we can understand from its name, the Roman Catholic Church, the Catholic Church is a religious organization that originated from Rome. God said the beast has 10 horns, therefore, God allows us to know that the organization is closely related with Rome. The leopard in the prophecy of Daniel 7 stands for Greece. Greece was very famous for philosophy. Therefore, the fact that the beast resembles a leopard implies that the Roman Catholic Church accepted Greek philosophy. In reality, the Roman Catholic Church adopted Greek philosophy and systemized their doctrines according to it. In this way, the Catholic doctrines mixed with Greek philosophy are the patristic and the scholastic philosophy. The patristic philosophy adopted Plato's philosophy, and the scholastic philosophy adopted Aristotle's philosophy. In Daniel 7, the bear represents Media Persia. It is described in that way to inform us that the Roman Catholic Church has features of Media Persia. The Media Persian Empire worshipped the sun god, Mitra. Therefore, the fact that the beast resembles a bear shows that the Roman Catholic Church accepted the sun god worship from Media Persia. Sunday and Christmas are the typical examples. Sunday is the holy day of Mithraism, and Christmas originated with the birthday of the sun god, Mitra. In addition to that, the mouth of the beast looks like that of a lion. So, which kingdom does the lion represent? The lion, in Daniel 7, represents Babylon. Babylon intensely worshipped idols. So much in fact that the beast looks like a lion means that the Roman Catholic Church accepted the idolatry of Babylon. As prophesied, the Roman Catholic Church worships various idols such as the cross and the statue of the Virgin Mary. The cross originated with the first letter, Tau, of the god Tammuz worshipped in Babylon, and the Virgin Mary worship originated with the mother and child worship of Babylon. Judging from what we have seen, the Roman Catholic Church made their doctrines by adopting philosophy and idolatry from Babylon, Media Persia, and Greece. Though the Roman Catholic Church appears to believe in God, it is an assembly of detestable idolatry. Revelation 13 verse 2 clearly shows this. What is more surprising is that the Catholic Church receives their power from Satan, the devil, not God. Let's take a look at Revelation chapter 13 verse 2. Revelation 13 verse 2. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. Revelation 13 verse 4. Men worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast, and they also worshipped the beast and asked, "Who is like the beast? Who can make war against him?" Revelation 12 verse 9. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. God said that the beast, the Roman Catholic Church, receives their power from the dragon. Then, whom does the dragon represent in the Bible? The dragon represents Satan, the devil. Revelation 13 verse 8. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the book of life, belonging to the Lamb that was slain from the creation of the world. How vexing it is. It is said that all inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast because they can't recognize its identity, the organization going against God. Therefore, it is so important to recognize the identity of the beast for our salvation. God gave us one more definite evidence, which is an undeniable fact that the Roman Catholic Church receives their power from Satan. In Revelation 13 verse 18 it says that, "This calls for wisdom. If anyone has insight, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is man's number. His number is 666. The number 666 is the number indicating the beast. In other words, it shows the identity of the beast. Then what does the number 666 show us about the identity of the papacy? The last phrase of verse 17 says the number of his name. The Pope has the title Vicar of the Son of God in Latin, which is the official language of the Vatican. It is Vicarius Filii Dei. Some of the Latin letters have a numerical value. The Roman numbers I, V, X, L, C, D, and M are used as numbers. Their numerical values are 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, and 1000 respectively. When Revelation was written, the alphabet U did not exist. However, it was made later and replaced the V, which had been used as a vowel. So, the letter U should be counted as V. Now let's take a look at the title of the Pope numerically. What do all the numbers add up to? They add up to exactly 666. How accurate the prophecies in the Bible are. So, the beast that appears in Revelation 13 is the Roman Catholic Church without a doubt. The Roman Catholic Church originated in Rome, accepted religion and philosophy from Babylon, Greece, and Media Persia, and it is the only religious group in the world that has the title 666. The Roman Catholic Church receives power from Satan, not from God. This prophecy tells us that we can never receive salvation if we belong to the Roman Catholic Church or follow the doctrines made by them. Can we consider the Catholic Church as a religious group believing in God, though the Bible reveals the identity of the Roman Catholic Church through many undeniable evidences? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 through 4. Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the man doomed to destruction. He will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. We have to realize that the prophecy he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God, has been fulfilled by the Roman Catholic Church now. Before, we have studied about the identity of Satan, the devil the Roman Catholic Church prophesied in Revelation following the prophecy of Daniel. What is God's will that he repeatedly shows us such a prophecy in Revelation 13 again for our salvation? Though the prophecy of Daniel is enough to recognize the identity of Satan, is it not an earnest desire of God that God's people are not led astray by Satan? We must come out of the Roman Catholic Church and run quickly to the Church of God Jesus Witnesses, Zion, where God dwells. In the last chapter, we studied about the identity of the Roman Catholic Church through Revelation 13. This is not the end of God's prophecy. God explicitly depicts the appearance of the Roman Catholic Church and rebukes many Protestant churches for having left the commandments of God. Through this topic, we should realize how important obeying God's words is and confirm once again that there is no other place where we can receive salvation except the Church of God Jesus Witnesses. Let's take a look at Revelation chapter 17 verse 1. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute, who sits on many waters." Revelation chapter 17 verse 15. Then the angel said to me, "The waters you saw, where the prostitute sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages." The word "sits on many waters" means to reign over many people of the world. In addition, a prostitute means an adulterous woman. Then, what do woman and adultery refer to? Let's check the meaning of the woman first. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 13. "The church that is at Babylon, elected together with you, saluteth you, and so doth Mark my son." Then, what does the words "a church committing adultery" mean? James chapter 4 verse 4. "You adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world is hatred toward God? Anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God." Adultery means to be friends with the world. In other words, a church that focuses on the power of the world abandons the words of God. Then, which church is the one committing adultery and reigning over many people of the world? Continuing on with verse 3, let's find out the identity. Revelation chapter 17 verse 3. "Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a desert. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. As studied in Daniel 7 and Revelation 13, the beast with 10 horns indicates the Roman Empire. The words "a woman sitting on the Roman Empire" means an adulterous church that has controlled the Roman Empire as it pleases. Then which church has controlled the Roman Empire as it pleases? The answer is the Roman Catholic Church. Like the prophecy, the Roman Catholic Church manipulated the Roman Empire the way it wanted to in the medieval age, and also many people followed the Catholic Church. God prophesied about its characteristics and appearance to reveal that the prostitute is the Roman Catholic Church. Revelation 17 verse 2. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery. Does kings of the earth not mean the leaders of countries such as a president or a prime minister? Today, the Roman Catholic Church has many members throughout the world. It also has a close relationship with many leaders of the nations of the world. Today, among all the churches in the world, it is only the Roman Catholic Church that fits this prophecy perfectly. Revelation chapter 17 verse 4. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, and was glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The woman, namely the church, was said to be dressed in purple and scarlet. Purple and scarlet are the colors of the wardrobe of the Pope and the cardinals, and the church is glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. Let's have a look at the interior of the cathedral decorated luxuriously. Is there another church glittered with gold, precious stones and pearls other than the Roman Catholic Church in the world? Also, the church holds a golden cup in her hand. The Roman Catholic Church uses the golden cup during its services. It is only the Roman Catholic Church that fulfills this prophecy. God explains it to us in detail to disclose the identity of the Roman Catholic Church. Moreover, the Bible explains about not only the Roman Catholic Church, but also the many other false churches following it. Revelation 17 verse 5. This title was written on her forehead. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. God calls the Roman Catholic Church the Great Babylon. Like the history that a long time ago the nation of Babylon destroyed the temple of God, killed the people of God, and also took some of them captive, spiritual Babylon also has destroyed the early churches, killed the faithful Christians, and taken them captive. God calls the Roman Catholic Church Babylon to make us understand that point. Moreover, God calls the Roman Catholic Church the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. If the Roman Catholic Church is the mother, will there not be her daughters whom she bore, namely the prostitutes and the abominations of the earth? They are definitely the Protestant churches following the doctrines of the Catholic Church. Protestant churches, which follow the doctrines such as Sunday service, Christmas, and cross reverence made by the Roman Catholic Church, are the daughters of the Roman Catholic Church and the prostitutes. If the Roman Catholic Church is the Great Babylon, the Protestant churches are small Babylons. Even the Roman Catholic Church also calls herself the Mother Church of all churches. It is the Mother Church of all Christendom and is the one divine institution which has come down unchanged through more than 19 centuries. From the book, The Faith of Millions, the sins of the Roman Catholic Church do not end here. God recorded every single sin the Roman Catholic Church had committed in the medieval age. Revelation chapter 17 verse 6. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. The church claims to believe in God is said to be drunken with the blood of the saints. Just like the words of this prophecy, the Roman Catholic Church installed the Inquisition and massacred and tortured innocent Christians cruelly in the medieval age. Historians testified that more than 50 million Christians were sacrificed during this period. The tools the Roman Catholic Church used for torture at that time and the paintings that depict people being executed are truly horrible. So far, we have studied the identity of the Roman Catholic Church and the Protestant churches following the doctrines of the Roman Catholic Church. God reveals their identity with the word prostitute as a church. It does not worship God but is friends with the world as well as betrays God and kills the people of God. How can it be considered a church that believes in God? In addition to that, the Protestant churches, even though they know the reality of the Roman Catholic Church, can never avoid God's stern judgment because they follow the doctrines of the Roman Catholic Church. Up until now, we have studied the prophecies in Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Revelation 13, and Revelation 17 about the Roman Catholic and Protestantism. God prophesied in detail about the appearance of an organization which would stand against God through such prophecies. This time, we are going to find out the spiritual state of the Roman Catholic Church and Protestant churches through the prophecy of Revelation 18, as well as find out the voice of God who wants us to come out of there. Revelation 18 verse 1 through 3 starts with an angel who comes down from heaven and has great authority, and through his splendor the identity of Babylon is revealed. The prophecy is as follows. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. With a mighty voice he shouted, "Fallen! Fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a home for demons and a haunt for every evil spirit, a haunt for every unclean and detestable bird. For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries." The identity of Babylon, which had not been revealed for a long time, is clearly revealed, because the angel who has great authority illuminates the earth with his splendor. God told us that Babylon had become a home for demons and a haunt for every evil spirit, a haunt for every unclean and detestable bird, and all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. Here, the detestable bird means Satan. In Luke chapter 8 verse 5 through 12, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path. It was trampled on, and the birds of the air ate it up. Those along the path are the ones who hear, and then the devil comes and takes away the word from their hearts, so that they may not believe and be saved. Revelation 18 is a connected prophecy to Revelation 17, which clearly shows the spiritual state of the Roman Catholic Church and Protestant churches. Outwardly, they seem as if they have a good faith to God. However, God let us know that it is not a home for God, but in actuality a home for demons. Right after, God let us know that all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of Babylon, and the kings of the earth committed adultery with her. Like this prophecy, lawlessness, Sunday worship, and Christmas were spread by Babylon throughout the world, and the kings of the earth committed adultery with her. Christmas, which is the biggest holy day of Christianity, became a holy day all over the world, and many people are going to the way of ruin by participating in this lawlessness. In this situation, the punishment of God's wrath is already prepared to fall on Babylon. However, God earnestly ordered God's people who were still in Babylon to come out quickly from there before the last day. Revelation 18 verse 4 through 6. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Give back to her as she is given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Mix her a double portion from her own cup." The sins of Babylon, who stands against God and distresses God's people, were piled up to heaven. The organization which massacred God's people, a number between 50 million and 70 million, during the Dark Ages, is the Roman Catholic Church. This Babylon continues to lead many spirits to the fiery pits of hell even at this moment. So how can God forget their sins? However, what will happen if we stay in the Babylon? It is obvious that we too will be destroyed along with them. That's why God said, "Come out of Babylon, my people." We must obey God's commandment, and only then we will be saved. Then, is it okay to just come out of Babylon? If God orders us to come out of Babylon, that means there is somewhere we should go. Where is it? Let's find out by turning to Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 5 through 6. Announce in Judah and proclaim in Jerusalem and say, "Sound the trumpet throughout the land. Cry aloud and say, gather together. Let us flee to the fortified cities. Raise the signal to go to Zion. Flee for safety without delay. For I am bringing disaster from the north, even terrible destruction." The Bible tells us, flee to Zion before disaster and destruction. Then where is Zion which God's people must flee to? Of course, it does not mean Zion in Palestine. There is a record in the Bible, the spiritual Zion, as follows. Let us now turn to Isaiah 33 verse 20 through 21. Look upon Zion, the city of our festivals. Your eyes will see Jerusalem, a peaceful abode, a tent that will not be moved. There the Lord will be our mighty one. Zion is the place where God's festivals are kept. Of course, the festivals written here mean the New Covenant feasts. Babylon is a home which is full of lawlessness, but Zion is a place of God which keeps God's festivals, that is, every feasts. Zion is God's dwelling and his resting place forever and ever. Babylon is a home for demons and a haunt for every evil spirit, and it is full of lawlessness, so it makes all nations commit sin and fall into destruction. However, Zion has the truth of God, so all the people in Zion will be saved from the last judgment. Then, where's the church, Zion, which keeps the New Covenant feasts in these days? It is the very Church of God Jesus Witnesses, COGJW. We recommend you go to the Church of God which keeps the Sabbath and God's 7 feasts in 3 times to be saved. God bless you and bye for now from the Church of God Jesus Witnesses.